Yeah, so Nirbhaya tender was this emergency response after what happened, Nirbhaya incident. Then, in the course of putting that emergency response system, they realized that the medical emergency team actually use a different number, the fire uses a different number, the police have a different number. There is no instance of one single, even just a number. I mean, one single number to reach all these systems that can respond. And then they got about trying to implement it, and that's when they realized that not just frequencies. I mean, because of the way a telecom is implemented here, you have to have a dedicated frequency. Otherwise, with the call drops, no call is going to go through in the first place. So you start with a dedicated frequency, but then dedicated frequency is a policy. So starting from there, everything started falling apart. So till date, even though the government, or I think at that time the Supreme Court had something saying, get some of these things in place immediately, the system couldn't rally enough to deploy. Okay. So should we not go to more on that?
Okay. So basically just enhancing that this is a short recipe for failure. The way we are going about it, if we don't think about it differently, if we don't put our minds to understand what is India appropriate, we are on a path like our Bangalore roads, right? They keep digging, they keep laying, they keep digging, they keep laying, they keep digging. I mean, that's what's going to happen to these smart cities too, if we don't think about it differently.
Good smartly, but.
So that's the need of the hour. The need of the hour is for all of us to come together from the government, from academia, and from industry to understand, build technology accelerators, leveraging the research that's going on in academia, to build an accreditation framework which is inclusive with all the startups and everything. Today, if you are not 50 crores, you can't participate in a government tender. And 50 crores for last 3 years. Okay, it just excludes about every development that's happening in India. So things like that we need to address. Then sustainable technology solutions, right? So different aspects like manufacturing and all of those delivery models, all of those need to be looked at differently. So that's what we're talking about. So the framework that we put for ourselves is basically bringing technical experts together from all these streams, creating an open forum to enable India-appropriate technology solutions for the smart city. It's very simple. And some of the outcomes, so right up front we want to be outcome driven because that brings focus. And the outcomes that we have defined for ourselves are India-centric use case analysis, emerging technology adoption methodology, RFP guidelines, and a reference architecture. So these are the things that we are trying to pull ourselves together on. This is just emphasizing again that we are kind of harmonizing across. So if a top-down harmonization may be difficult because these organizations, MOUD, DOT and BIS are very different organizations, and it's since they have come and contacted us, so it's good that the government today is embracing the technologists and the academicians to help them in the strategic thinking of these aspects. And luckily we've been able to come together through these conferences and forums that why don't we work on this together, and we'll then meet DIS's needs and DOT's needs and DAT's needs and MOUD's needs, but at least we will come in a common forum, put all our energies together, because these are complex problems, and it's hard work for us to all come together, and we are all bandwidth constrained, so might as well do it right and then share it with everybody rather than competing and forces in different angles. So that's really the agenda. And obviously BIS, TSDSI, they have a bigger charter than what we are taking up in this task force. We are very focused on these 4 outcomes. Okay, and that's you want to talk a little bit about the task force and the interactions you've been having with DOT. Should I get you you have a bad throat?
Yeah. Just keep it very brief.
Yeah, coming from academia, I think this is something where I see 2 places where academia can contribute. One is related to kind of the technology gaps. what are things which need to be developed or invented for especially our country, keeping things like cost, recognition, all those factors in mind. The second aspect is related to, I think, what was said, capacity building. Being able to create educational programs, training programs, because these are new concepts which are coming up, and it's not really covered in any of the existing educational systems. So hopefully, from our side, we are very interested in participating and developing some of these things.
I take this thing. Yeah. So okay. So this is again, the next level of detail on what each one. So the use case analysis that we are going to do, it's going to embrace all these areas: governance, utilities, smart development, which is healthcare, education, all those aspects, infrastructure aspects, which is smart buildings, smart transport, and then business ecosystem, manufacturing and all that. So all aspects of what a smart city should be, we want to embrace, and we want domain experts. So this will go beyond just us IT professionals, right? We are going to go to the water, the civil engineering people, and the education, healthcare people, and we need to involve them to do it right, as we are doing the use case analysis. And we will go to the cities. So the plan here is that we will have workshops in different regions of the country, and the commissioners from the cities will come and we'll work with them and talk to them and use that to encapsulate that in the next level detail that we work on the usage scenarios. And
just a question on that. So have you all connected with the 20 city commissioners now?
Not yet. I don't
We
think
have
we have everybody, but I think he knows.
Yeah, let's say unofficially and officially we can separate.
Unofficially, we have spoken to a few.
But we have met with Mr. Jagan Shah, who is the MOUD person. He's well aware of this work that's going on, and we are trying to kind of have him associated with one of our study groups also, as an official member into it. And then CDAC is also a co-signer of the proposal. So along with ISC, we have CDAC. CDAC has been responsible. Dr. Hemant Darbari, who's based out of Pune, they did the Pune smart city proposal, and CDAC has also been invited by 12 other of the smart cities to build the proposal. So they are very well connected at the ground level with them. So they are the co-signers of this task force, and driving this task force. And they will be conducting the workshops. They will be driving the workshops for us. So RFP guidelines, as we said, it's very important that the RFPs are inclusive, and the SLAs, the way they are being articulated, is in line with what technology can enable, right? And can make possible. Interoperability is another big. The vendors don't. So now typically what they do is they call the vendors. Each vendor gives its perspective and they build the SLA. In an emerging technology, we need to go influence the vendors to develop the right technology for us. And that perspective only a think tank can bring, right? The vendor will never give you that. So because he wants to make a quick buck. Whereas here we are talking for 10 years, 15 years, next 50 years this is going to influence us. And so we have to go influence them to build the right technologies for us. Then again, reference architecture, following the TOGAF methodology or the FEA, the enterprise architecture methodologies, which looks at services architecture, security architecture, applications, information technology, and then the technology. So that is the approach we want to follow to come up with a comprehensive architectures, which can then become the technical specifications for the RFPs that work. So that's really the thought process here. And so Sieglinde here, she is from the Bosch Center. She is also part of this effort now, a very, very important member of our team. And she went through the data of the people who are on our mailing list, who have become part of this task force, and she did an analysis on where they are coming from. So, Arvind, you want to talk about the framework with which the individual model and how others should sign up?
Okay.
I like to sign up what?
This is a lot of work, and there's a lot of money, so I can see a lot of people signing. So let me lay out what we're trying to do. First, there are 24 indicators used by the government. So those are the domains and their measures and their cities, and each city has its own parameter. Our objective is to help cities. It's a decentralized decision making. There is no central mandate that they have to use this technology, etc. On the other hand, to really get maximum bang for the buck, you want cities to adopt common approaches to not essential issues. Everybody doesn't have to do authentication in a different way. Please use Aadhaar, all of you. So the challenge is to help standards, best practices to emerge by decentralized decision making. That's the. So we are doing it as individuals. It is going to be difficult to get organizations to agree in any reasonable amount of time. So, to give an example, the Home Ministry and Aadhaar guys couldn't agree on the common biometrics for 2.5 years. So, getting a formal agreement by organizations is difficult. So, our approach is we have members. If you volunteer, you're volunteering as an individual. We expect your organization to know of it and not have problems with it. And the way we influence harmonization is by taking good ideas and bringing it there, or by telling some group, we are doing a lot of work here, why don't you use this as a base? Instead of redoing the whole thing, adopt this. So the idea is that we reuse stuff. So if BIS has done some stuff on reference architecture, we don't try to do it. But if we find gaps, we may build it, and the BIS guy who's with us will influence BIS not to redo it and adopt it. So it's a diffusion model of diffusing good ideas and best practices rather than a formal mandated approach that you will do this. That's not the way. We want to influence people's thoughts, we want to share knowledge, and we want to make sure we, with the least effort, we get the maximum bang for the buck. So and there's a lot of work, so we request a lot of you people to volunteer. There are three or four levels of work. The core team, of course, will do a lot of the work, drafting documents, etc. There are work groups. They are leads for the different work groups, so RFP or the standards architecture. The RFP group will be the shortest path because the smart city SPVs will be formed within the next 3-4 months. They have to finish. The architecture work group is probably a 2-year project that will take some time. There are members, and we will also have 2 levels of involvement from people. We will have some people who always review the documents, who are committed to spending 3 to 4 hours a week to review and help. And there are some people whom we will pursue to invite because they are experts in the topic. We will create and we will co-opt district commissioners, etc.
Yeah, more importantly, this is a voluntary group, so it's free of cost. So we want people with passion who can kind of contribute.
Zero barrier to entry, zero barrier to contribution.
So, question on volunteering. Can you volunteer for a particular city?
No, that's not the way we are working. But send us a mail. We will figure out the way.
This is an initiative for India, right? It's not an initiative for a state or a city. It's an initiative for India.
Initiative will take some
The
time.
reason when I saw this topic is because Belgaum is one of the cities.
Exactly.
That's my hometown. So if I
So
can
we work together. So we will work together.
Put us a mail. We'll figure out a way to make that happen. We'll figure out a way.
On specific use cases.
We'll figure
Maybe
out.
you want to focus on the Belgaum use cases.
Yeah.
Right? So there is a URL IoT for
Good.
SCTF, and Venki, now the audience is now the floor is yours.
Close mine. Wow. So
You wanted to be the last guy.
So fantastic. So thanks, you're on time. So I think if we kick this off, the whole thing is, they wanted a platform.
Mine is not working. But you are
Loud enough. So, so we formally kicked this off as an IoT for Smart Cities Taskforce, right? Which will, I'm sure, continue for a long time to come. But what we need is people who can contribute to make this a success, right? We need to execute on our vision, and that's what we are looking for. We have very, very committed people, Pamela and the team out here, Amrita, Bharatwaj. He's the one who actually put the entire thing. Vipin's kind of worked on it for the last several years, consulting and stuff like that. So, but we really require people who can contribute, in whatever fashion you want. Please come and join us.